we have a basic viewpoint that is built upon a belief that humans are basically good, and somehow organizations and pressure and stress and events in the world somehow shuts that goodness down. So our basic belief is people are basically good, they're basically full of potential, and if we can work with leaders to remove the barriers to them realizing that potential, I think that's our defining feature. Spirit of service, without question. Because in my own personal beliefs, it's something that I'm on a journey. We're all on a journey. My particular journey has had some moments of epiphany, and one of them was that there's only one of me, and there's billions and literally trillions of other beings. So who's more important, one of me or trillions of others? So I've tried to design and live my life inverting that pyramid to help other beings. So for me, the spirit of service, which is at the very heart of what we are, is the differentiating factor. For me, it's not a question of working for your own benefit. It's a question of working for others. And I think if you have that priority, if you're focused on doing the right thing, if you're focused on service to others, that'll come across to the clients. Then the assignments will flow, and then of course you'll be rewarded. But if you have it the other way around, and you're in it for the rewards to begin with, I think you're coming at it from the wrong angle. So to me, the spirit of service and everything that it's built upon is the most important, because it helps to shape our mindset positively. And then the rewards are literally that. They are the rewards for doing the right things, but it's certainly not the primary motivating factor. So the most inspiring experience I ever had working with leaders was actually the moment that I met Oxford Leadership. And so I was actually asked during a consulting assignment that I had to bring Oxford Leadership in. And I didn't know Oxford Leadership. I didn't know anything about the capabilities or the capacities. So I had no expectations. They came in, and in 3 hours, they worked and transformed 80 leaders that I had been working with for years with different methodologies, and I'd never seen such a dramatic transformation. So literally 80 stiff, sequential, very rational people in the space of 3 hours learned something completely new about themselves, about collaboration, and it was through the magic of Oxford Leadership. And at that moment, not only were they transformed, I was also transformed. And that's why I'm here today. Be sincere. Figure out what you want as a person, as an individual. Figure out how that affects the lives of others, because as a leader, you are a huge multiplier, both for good and for bad. And on the basis of that kind of a deep inner investigation, bring the spirit of service into that calculation. Because you are a multiplier, because you are a leader, you are one of the few people who can affect dramatic change. So in your own heart, what is the change that you want to be? We can destroy this planet in the wink of an eye. That's easy. But to repair what we've done to achieve our potential is going to take leaders who don't have that focus, but this wider focus. So go inside, be sincere, figure out who you are, involve the spirit of service, and then open up to lead people to some kind of a greater good. I think it would manifest when we saw people who were happy to go to work. That would be a dramatic sign of transformation. I think it would manifest when there was a more balanced approach to people and profits and planet. I think it would manifest when leaders embodied true leadership from the heart, leading themselves, leading others, leading the organization, leading society. When this journey begins from the inside out and it finally begins to cascade and spread through the organization, it's actually called a tipping point, where there's enough of a positive impression, there's enough positive impressions in the organization that something suddenly just tips. So when that happens, you will see a happier workforce, more productive workforce. Everybody wins. I think it came in stages. And it came through, I mean, if you look at Greek literature from 1,000 years, well, 500 years before Christ, there's a crisis and there's a catharsis. It's the basic, we have to go through moments of crisis in order to have the breakthroughs, in order to have the catharsis. In Oxford Leadership, we talk about the growth curve and the natural cycle. This cannot be avoided. So every being goes through these moments of crisis. And I don't think it's one defining moment, but it's a cycle of growth that we go through. When you face into the wind like that, and you go through it, somehow they give you the opportunity to learn new things, to grow, and to change. So these moments of transformation, it's not necessarily one aha moment, but it's a series of aha moments where you have one and you stabilize, you have the next one, you stabilize. So it's a gradual growth through time. In some great philosophical traditions, there's two important things which have to be achieved and they have to be balanced. One of them is compassion and one of them is wisdom. And if you're too compassionate, you're too soft, you don't have any structure, and you're looking at the suffering of the world and you don't know what to do about it and you completely collapse. That's an overweight of compassion. If you have too much wisdom, you're extremely stiff, you're extremely logical, but you have no warmth, you have no understanding of other. So balancing compassion and wisdom is balancing the intelligence to help leaders to do the right thing, to guide them to lead more effectively, but not for profit, not for ego-driven reasons, but rather balancing it with this compassion. And compassion you can think of in many different ways. So when you start to do the math, compassion actually becomes quite natural, because it's the numbers are simply, there's one of you and there's trillions of other beings. And only one person affects the value of the whole. And the decisions, the choices that we make as individuals accumulate and again influence the value of the whole system. It's again this tipping point. If enough people are thinking about balancing compassion and wisdom, and enough people are acting upon those thoughts, then the entire energy of the system tips to the positive. So we create a change through every decision that we make, every moment that we are alive. So we always have the choice. It might not seem like it, but we always have the choice. It's about what can I do to be part of the solution instead of part of the problem.